Well, hello. How's everybody doing today? Great to see all of you here today. Wonderful. Let's see some questions we have here. Mind, physics, all that stuff. All right, we're going to get into it. Everybody's tuning in on this wonderful day for this enlightening live. Everybody's joining in. All right, great to have you here. Let us begin. The mind was not evolved to make you happy. Your mind was evolved to keep you alive. Once you met or have the basic necessities of your life, food, shelter, warmth, whatever, which the majority of people have now, what the mind does, the mind now becomes idle. And the mind becomes idle by telling you negative things about the future. You have to remember that. It's very important. The mind was what? The mind didn't evolve for happiness, people. The mind evolved for survival, to keep you safe. Once you're safe, which is your basic necessities, your mind is going to idle and wonder. And this is where we get suffering. And this is where we get all the negative thoughts. So you have to learn to shut off that mind. Let me give an example. When your mind says to you, you are worthless, you are no good, you're not going to make it, you have to really ask yourself a question, all right? Is that really you? You wouldn't say those things to yourself. Think about it. Would you say them to your friend or family? No. Would you go tell yourself, you're not good enough, I'm not worthy? No, you wouldn't. Also, would you deliberately think about those things? No, you wouldn't. So what's going on with the mind? The mind is just happening. It's a program. Gotta remember that. So the fact that your mind says you're not good enough, now you have to understand, wait a minute, separation time. I am not the mind now, okay? What you are is the watcher and the observer. So if you want to begin to manifest things or use manifestation, you have to know these basic fundamentals. Because if you don't know these basic fundamentals, you're going to manifest what you don't want. So here's the basic fundamentals. The mind is not you. It is a program. It will tell you negative stuff. It will talk bad about you. It's still not you. How do you know it's not you? Because you know internally in yourself, you wouldn't talk bad stuff about yourself, right? Correct. So you are a watcher or the observer of the mind. So what is the next thing? The mind is not your enemy, okay? And the mind is also not your friend. Okay, that's the next one now. You have to put the mind in the middle and be neutral. Again, it is not you, a program. Mark, why is the mind like that? The mind is like that because the subconscious feeds it that information from our program, from what we see in our life. Got that? All right. If you want to free the mind and to get the mind from that state, you have to stop doing a couple things. You have to stop feeding it the fuel it needs to do what it's doing to you. And then you have to stop another thing, stop feeding it the fuel, and then you have to stop thinking about future and the past. Those two things. If you want your mind to stop. So what's the first thing you got to stop? What's the number one fuel of the mind? Mainstream media. Mainstream media loves to target a part of your brain called the amygdala. The amygdala part of our brain is where we house our fear, our doubt, our emotional mapping of our brain. The amygdala will give you what you don't want. It creates fear receptors. It'll make you get anxious. All of the bad stuff. We don't want to go there. The mainstream media and the news and all that stuff, they have set up the system. They have set up their program to target your amygdala. That means if you watch the news, you are feeding the cycle of the mind. Point blank. The next thing, the past and the future. They're not here. They don't exist. Okay. Now, let's move into the next phase of this lecture. This brings us into the past and the future and takes us into the mind. And the next phase. All right. So you remember when you were a little kid, or maybe a few years ago, and you used to see they showed us the map of the atom, right? And you see the atom right there. You see the atom, and you see it's orbiting a nucleus, the electron and a proton is orbiting, right? We see all that stuff. That's incorrect. That's not an atom. That's not how an atom looks. We now have clear image of what an atom actually looks like, and this is going to blow your mind. The atom looks like a little ball with pulsating energy back and forth. That's all it is. There's nothing orbiting it. The electrons and the protons are all a part of the field, and they're going like this. It's an energy just going out. It's a little circle, and it has these waves of energy around it. They collapse in and they collapse out. It means a wave function. They collapse into reality. They collapse out of reality, what we call reality. Pay attention now, because this is important. And the atom is more non-stuff than stuff. So we used to think of the atom as a thing. That's wrong now. The atom is actually a place, a coordinate. The atom is not a thing. It is a place in space. It is a coordinate in space. The atom is not a thing in time. It's a thing in the space. It's very important. Let's go to you. You have about 1 trillion cells. Each one of your cells house what's called your DNA. 1 trillion cells. If one thing happens to one cell, all the other 1 trillion cells simultaneously will react and adopt that. You know that, right? Okay? Now, why is that important? It's important for you to understand this, because this is very powerful. You and your cells and me and you, we are not a thing. We are a place. We are here and everywhere all at once. Remember, in your cell, 1 trillion, and within the cell, the genetic part of the cell, about another 1 trillion atoms, which I just told you. Science, an atom is a place, not a thing. It's not physical. So let's get to this. We're going to go back to the cells. So why does things look physical to us? Well, it's because the way your brain interprets the energy field from the atom is what gives rise to physical, what we call physical reality. So the way our brain sees the atom's energy is what makes things look real to us. But the truth is, it's not real. You are more non-physical than physical. You have been led to believe you're more physical than non-physical. That's actually incorrect. Remember, this is research and proof and evidence within the last 5 years. I'm not going to tell you this. That's correct. We are nothing but locations in space. And now leads me to the next part. We are holograms playing a role through a higher level of a field of consciousness. And let me prove it to you again. Let's go back to your cells. Within the cells, there's 1 trillion cells. A hologram, if you take a piece of a hologram, every piece of the hologram will have the entire whole stuff in it. So if you take a piece of the universe, if you look in that little piece of the universe, you'll see the entire universe. If you take a little piece of your skin cell, you will see the entire information of your body. That can only happen in a hologram. This is why I just told you, if one of you have 1 trillion cells, if one of those cells mutate, the other 1 trillion cells will follow. If one of those cells feel happy, the other 1 trillion cells will feel happy. If it wasn't true, then this would happen. Each 1 trillion cell, one of each cell will have to contact the next cell to get, you know how long that would take? Hundreds of years. So that means if one cell mutates in a positive way, To get to the other cells, it will take over 100, maybe even 100,000 years for each cell to communicate. But it happens instantaneously. The only way it can happen instantaneously, it's a hologram. It's a hologram. So why do people feel stuck? Why do people can't get what they want? It's because people are living outside of their authentic self. Your authentic self is the observer. It is not the mind. And it's not even the body. It's the awareness, the watcher. So what happens is when you feel stuck and when you feel all this stuff, it means that you are mainly controlled by your mind set. It means you are controlled by your ego. That's the only way it could happen. Because if you just understood or overstood what I'm pointing to you, I just showed you. We make in simple terms that you aren't a thing, you are a place. Remember I told you, I said you're a what? You are a coordinate. That means if you are a place in the space, you are everywhere all at once. And if you are everywhere all at once, so are your desires and manifestations. And if your manifestations and desires are everywhere all at once, here's the next one. That means they exist everywhere all at once. Since you are a location, all you have to do is find a coordinate to where your stuff exists so that you can go bring it in to experience it. Does it make sense now? So how do we channel the energy of our simulation? We channel the energy of our simulation to the same thing that creates the simulation, our awareness and our focus. Whatever someone focuses on, it will actually grow and expand. It has to grow and expand. Because remember, physical reality is what? Illusion. Remember, your brain sees the atom as an energy. It's an energy. It's just the way your brain interprets the atom's energy, which gives rise to physical reality to us. The fact is, we are more non-physical than physical. I'll make it simple for you. You and I are about 2.3% physical. All of this is your 2.3% physical. That's what you are. But to you and I, it looks like that's the whole game. We're all physical. That's 2.3% physical. Now look, this is what science just says. Science says 5 years. This has been discovered, okay? This is new stuff in the last 5 years. How many people go back and look for this stuff? No, not a lot. That's why I'm here to show you this. How do we tap into the coordinate? That is an excellent question. You tap into the coordinate by feeding the awareness, the images of whatever it is you like to experience, accompanied by a feeling or an emotion of what it would feel like. I repeat it again. You tap into the coordinate by feeding an image of whatever it is you like, repeating it, conjuring up an emotion or a feeling that will match it, and then you will magically, they call it magically, miraculously, you will magically and miraculously appear in that coordinate where that is already happening. Then what your brain does, your brain will interpret it as physical reality for you to experience it. That's how you tap into the coordinates. I would love to review and take notes. This may be new information, this may be fascinating, so I will go over it again because it's very important for you to know this. So let's begin it, let's go over it one more time, because a lot of people here, a lot of you guys may not understand this. The atom is not the way you thought it was. When you look in your textbook and you see an atom with a nucleus and all, that's incorrect, that's outdated. Within the last 5 years, we now have tons of evidence, support, observation, experiments. Now we know what it is. The atom is a ball like this, and around it is a bunch of energy, and it goes in and out of existence. The atom is 99.99999 empty space. You all know that. When your brain sees the atom, the energy that the atom pulsates, your brain takes the energy from the atom and tricks you to see physical reality. You are made of atoms. Your cells, trillion atoms. Each atom, trillion atom in your cell is the same thing. That's not a thing. Now they know the atom is not a thing in time. It is a thing. It is a place in space. So there go we. Now we shoot out the theory and the thing that time exists. Now we know time doesn't exist if you don't know already, but now that's the proof, because there's only the now. So if you are a place, that means you are in all places all at once. Why is that? Because space is infinite. If it's infinite, every possible outcome can happen and is happening and will happen. Okay? The cells, to show you the further proof again, that you are holographic in everything. Your blood, your cells, all holograms. It's like a simulation from your higher self playing this game. In a trillion cells, what happens to one cell instantaneously affects the whole cells. If you take a piece of a hologram, you ever had the hologram with your card, and you look at the hologram? If you take a piece of a hologram, just a little piece of the hologram, in that little piece have the entire information of the whole hologram. That's what you are. Got that? See how that works? Now, how to apply this to manifest what you want. You apply this by understanding that you are a place, not a thing, not a being. That's the first step to manifest anything. You have to disassociate yourself from a physical being as much as possible. I know it's a paradox, but to get what you want, you have to act like you're not a human. And what do I mean by that? You have to act like you're energy. You have to act like you're not physical. Mark, how do I act like I'm not physical? How do I act like I'm energy? There's only one way to act like energy. Actually, there's two ways to act like energy. Imagination and feelings. Imagination and feelings. When you act like your energy, which you are from the atom, then that energy now will be placed in the coordinate where the brain interprets that image. Remember, the brain sees the same energy and makes it look like it's a real physical world, but it is not, because I just showed you. I didn't show you. I'm just passing information on to you. You can go do it, research it yourself, and you can come back to me, and then you'll see that, oh, this guy's telling me the facts. By the way, they're not going to put this out to you because there are hundreds of thousands and millions of textbooks that were written and they're outdated with wrong information. You think they have time to go and re-edit all those textbooks to show you the truth? They're not going to do it. They're going to put the truth out there and they're going to say, well, good luck finding it. If you find it, good for you. But we're not going to go back for 20 years of research and tell you that the atom is this way now than it wasn't then. So many people are walking around with the whole concept that we live in a physical, manifested universe and that we live in a physical, hard society or reality, and that many people are walking around thinking and believing that they cannot change their circumstances and they cannot change their world, and they have to do it with connections or hard work. Many millions of people are walking around like that right now, and they're not going to change it. So I am giving you the energy and the information so you can apply it for yourself. Got that? Now, the atom is information. Energy is information. So now, you hear when they say, oh, the wave collapse. What's the wave function collapse? So you hear the physicists and individuals, they talk and they say these complicated things that you may not understand. I'm going to make it simple for you. When they talk about wave collapse, remember, the atom, the way the atom exists now is like a ball, and around it is energy, and the ball of energy is just going in and out. It disappears and it reappears. So where does it go? When it disappears, it goes into what's called all possible outcomes. That's called superposition. When it reappears, it comes back into an electron. It disappears, it goes back again into all possible outcomes. It reappears, it becomes what your brain sees as a physical thing. You following me? People, that's what you are. You are the atom. So whenever you disappear, you are experiencing all possible outcomes. And check this out. It is happening to you and I right now in real time. That means we are just like the atom. We go in and out of existence. But remember, your brain can only see a part of it. So 2.3% is what you see as physical reality. Your brain can't show you you're disappearing. Your brain can't show you all the infinite outcomes that you're experiencing. It's impossible to do that. I know this is trippy, but this is the truth. This is how it works. Okay? So right now, as I'm speaking to you and you're watching this, you have already experienced every possible outcome that you can think of and that you cannot think of right now. Think about it. Let's bring it down to our level. Let's bring it down to our world. Go ahead and think about all the things that you would like to experience in your life today. Just think about the stuff you want right now. You've just experienced all of it and you didn't know it. You've been it, done it, have it. Truth is stranger than fiction, my friends. So, how does manifestation tie into this? So if I've experienced all the stuff that I've done, how can I get my brain to just get me to experience one of them? Because you constantly, your cells disappear and appear. That's how it works. If you look on the microscope, you look in the electron microscope, it's going to show you. The atom is constantly, the atom, nothing is ever in a state of rest. Everything is in and out, in and out, in and out. Different dimensions. Exactly. So, since you've already experienced every single possible outcome, right? That means, remember now, you cannot destroy energy and you cannot create energy. So that means all the information that you've seen has been stored. So that means there is a copy or a stored copy still in the field of your experienced desires. So what you want to do, you want to bring one of those superposition realities into your physical realities. And the only way you can get to do that is called tune in. You have to tune your you have to tune your vibration to the frequency. So let me go back again, the atom. So while the atom is disappearing and reappearing from what perceived physical reality to infinite possibilities and realities, it is also giving off a byproduct. It gives off feedback. It gives off side effects. Everything will give off a side effect. And the side effect that the atom gives off are two primary side effects. They're called frequencies and vibrations. So while the atom is doing this and doing that, the energy, the thing that gives off the energy forms its own thing. One goes off into a frequency and the other goes off into a vibration. The one that goes off into a vibration falls on you. The one that goes off into a frequency falls on an event, a reality, or a situation. Okay, the frequency, you don't control, best way I'll put it to you. Because I want to make you understand, it's very simple. The frequency is its own existence of all possible realities. Okay? So you go to a frequency. You're not a frequency. However, you are a vibration. A vibration is what takes you to the frequency. Okay? All coming from that atom now, right? So if you want to experience, remember I told you, you're not a thing, you're a place, a what? I made videos, tons of videos on this before. I showed you that you're not a human. You're more non-physical than human. It's your brain's perception and conception of a human which gives you limitations and makes you suffer because of your mind and your ego and all that stuff. So if you can separate yourself from the human and become superpower, supernatural, superhuman, whatever you want to call it, I call it higher self. If you can get to that state, then you can have whatever it is you want to have right now. So the secret to get to the place of your reality or your desired reality is through your vibration. So the more you raise your vibration, the more you can attract and tap into the frequency of the existence that you want to experience. Your body is made to vibrate. Your cells, electrochemical, water, electricity, your body is vibrating right now. The vibration will tell the field what frequency to put you on. I'll give you an example. Check this out. If someone wants to make more money in their life, okay, if they feel unworthy, if they feel lack, but yet they are working hard and yet they are visualizing money, they're not going to make more money because their vibration doesn't match. Got it? So now, if someone figures this out and understands this knowledge and say, oh my goodness, so now someone wants to make more money or increase their business or whatever it is they want to do, they understand, okay, I have to feel like I already have it. That's your vibration. Okay, someone says one more time. Okay. If someone, I want to make it simple for you to understand again. Okay. If you go to work and you don't like your job because your job isn't paying you enough, but then when you go home, you're visualizing a better paying job and a job that's paying you more. You're not going to manifest a better paying job that's paying you more. And the reason is, even if you're visualizing it, is because your vibration isn't matching what is. So what you have to do then is, when you go to work, you have to at least like your job enough where it becomes neutral, so it doesn't affect the field as a lack. Then if you change your feeling towards what you want, that's called raising your vibration. So now your vibration will move from a state of lack to a state of abundance. Now listen, this doesn't have nothing to do with money now, okay? Money is a byproduct. So we have abundance and lack. When you're in abundance, yeah, you get money, but there's more. Money is just not abundance. Abundance in health, abundance in knowledge, abundance in peace. There's more. Abundance is a whole big thing. It's just abundance. Money is a tiny part of abundance, okay? So this is just not about the money part, but it's important. So if you feel like what it would feel like to have whatever it is you want to have, that's when your vibration now will go to the frequency that already exists. Follow me? Now, when you do that, this is what people, you ever hear people talk about, it's a miracle. This just happened in front of my life. Oh my goodness, I became blessed. No, you didn't become blessed. That's religious jargon. What you're experiencing is quantum physics in action, showing you how the immaterial becomes the material. And to you and I, it looks like a miracle, and it looks like you're blessed. You're already blessed. You've already blessed yourself because you are the field. Okay? So get out of that mindset. Like, oh, you've already blessed yourself. You are the field. You are the consciousness. You've done this already. So when it looks like it magically appears in your life, it's because of what you're seeing from the collapse from the immaterial into the material. You're seeing the wave function from a superposition coming into a physical reality. And to you and I, it happened so fast that we call it a miracle. But it is really science. See that? So you are doing this right now. So in other words, you can create your own miracle and you can create your own blessings. You don't have to wait for anything or anyone to bless you or anyone to make you a miracle. You're already a miracle because you're already doing this. The thing is, they don't want you to know this information. They want you to think and accept that you are more a physical being than a mental being. And that's the problem. Majority of people are stuck in a human being consciousness. They are not in their eternal being consciousness. They are not in their authentic self-consciousness. They would lose control of the masses if the knowledge and the information ever got out about who and what you truly are. I'm just a small dent in this stuff. When I give you the information, then you can make a bigger dent. And this is why I'm putting it out for you, so you can put it out for someone else, so you can do it yourself, so that it become a cascading effect. But I'm showing it to you right now, and I'll tell you again. There's a couple hundred people here, over 100 people. I'm going to tell you again. Your books that you have on physics and science are outdated and incorrect. The new mold or model of physics and science within the last 5 years has shown us truth is stranger than fiction, and I'll run over it again. It shows us that, number one, that we are holograms living in a holographic projection. It shows us, number two, that we are not even physical beings. We're 2.3% physical beings. We're more non-physical. Number three, it shows us what the atom actually looks like and how it operates, which is a ball surrounded by energy, pulsating in and out. Number four, it shows us that we exist in a place in space, not a thing in time. Number five, it shows us that time doesn't exist the way you see time as. 5 very important factors right there that will blow your mind. Okay? You got it? That's today's lesson. See you again next time.